Hello, 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 guys. Welcome. How are you today?
Hi, teacher. Everything is perfect today. What about you?
Good. That's good to
Yes.
hear. Great. It's great here. So far it's already Wednesday. It's already the middle of the week. How is the week going for you? For me, it's like going fast. Like I can't believe tomorrow is already Thursday. How is everything? Do you have any plans for the weekend? Are you guys celebrating Father's Day or not? Yes, no?
You said I would, but I can't.
You would, but you can't. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Well, people, so welcome to our session. We are having our third class of the cycle, and today is June the 14th. We are also already in the middle of the month. Like it's crazy. Like, June is going so fast. Like I don't know, for me it's been like that. Such a fast month. So we're about to get to the middle of the month. And people, we are already having our third class of the cycle. So today we're going to be working on this session that is we're going to begin with a warming up activity that is called You Are So, and then I will explain the activity. Then we're going to work on pages 78 and 79. We're going to do the listening exercise about leaving home. We're going to have our break from 7:30 to 7:40, and after the break we're going to be working on the infinitives and ing forms, and then we're going to do a group practice. Okay, so let's get it started. I am going to share the instructions for the activity. So just give me here 1 second while I open it. Okay, so I will explain the task. You are going to be working in groups, and you are going to see some cards that has the card or the cards have some adjectives that describe a typical behavior, right? So you are going to, or it has a character trait. Okay, so you are going to choose one of the character traits, and you are going to give clues to your classmates. Okay, so you are going to say, for example, if you choose the word um, chatterbox, for example, you say, okay, I love to, do not be so obvious, right? Do not be so obvious. Like, do not say, I like talking a lot. I like to, say everything about myself. No, I mean, do not try to be so obvious. You chose the character trait, a chatterbox, but you are not, I mean, and you're going to give some clues to your classmates, but you're not going to be like such obvious. Okay, so you're gonna say, okay, I am usually, or I like people to um be, or people to know what I like and what I don't like. I love being around people. I am sociable. I am a sociable person, and something like that. So then your classmates are going to try to guess what your character trait is. Okay, So hold on, let me share here my screen with the cards, with the vocabulary that we have worked during previous classes. So we have these words, okay? I'm going to send you to the groups and you are going to find this information on your drives folder. So on your students folder on class number 3, okay? It's called You Are So, and then the words, okay? Outspoken, opinionated, arrogant, overbearing, fussy, neat freak, hyperactive, well, and so on. So you're going to choose one. For example, I start, and then in my group, it's Mayra Plata, Harold, Freddy, and Anna. So I chose, again, Chatterbox, and I start giving them clues. And then Mayra, Harold, Freddy, and Anna will start guessing what my character trait is. Okay, it's not necessary. I mean, it doesn't mean that you are like that. Okay, it's just you are choosing a character trait and you are giving your ideas, you are giving your clues. Okay, it doesn't matter if you are like that or not. Okay, it doesn't matter. So that is what I want you to do. Is activity clear? Is the activity clear, guys? Is it?
Sorry, we choose a card and we
Yeah,
have give.
you don't tell your classmate what your classmates what your card is. So it's for yourself, okay? So you think about one, but you don't say anything. You just give them clues, okay? So let's say that you chose laid back, okay? So you chose laid back, you're not telling anything to anyone. So you say, okay, I tend to be easygoing. Like give them clues, but do not be so obvious, Diana. Like you don't say, oh, I don't care about anything. No. Do not be so obvious. Think about clues that are not that obvious so that your classmates are like, what can it be? So that is what I want you to do. So I'm going to send you to one of the to the breakout rooms. I'm going to send you to the breakout rooms, and I am going to be visiting the groups in case you guys need help. Okay. So again, I'm sending the link on the WhatsApp on the chat from the. Hold on. I'm going to send you to the breakout rooms, but in a second, while more people join the session because they're joining. So we have Brian and Jolie in the waiting room. They're trying to join. So as soon as they join, I'll send you to the breakout rooms. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna have Andrea, Christian, Natalie. Then we have Anna, Freddy, Mayra. Then we have Mayra, Pinzón, Andrea Vaca, Sarai, Angelica, Diana, and Har. And then we're missing Joely and Brian. I will send them to another group. Okay. Okay, guys, you can join the session.
You can.
Hi, teacher.
Hello.
Teacher,
Hello.
sorry to bother you, but you forget let us share the
Now
screen.
you can. Now you can. Oh my
Okay,
goodness. That's my bad. I always forget to do that.
don't
Sorry.
worry, teacher.
Now you can. Now you can share your screen.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
You
you
are
too.
very welcome.
Okay.
No, no, don't worry. Okay, espera, primero voy a borrar eso. Okay, this word is used to describe a person that maybe do a lot of things at the time. And
So arrogant. I'm going with another word. Um, maybe someone who that is lazy and doesn't like to do things at home. That is just chilling around.
Freak, maybe.
What did you say?
Freak.
Need freak? No.
Maybe laid back.
Yes. Lay back. Who's going next?
It's always giving opinions to the others, but in a bad way, like giving critics, I think.
Okay, maybe could be
Maybe
opinionated.
Yes. Yes.
Opinionator is the pronunciation of this word. Opinionator. Yes.
Opinionated.
Oh,
Opinion.
okay.
I think.
Okay. I guess that maybe is a hard one.
Opinionated, opinionated, opinionated.
Thank you, teacher.
Opinionated.
Opinionated.
Opinionated. Think about the word
Okay.
opinion. You see, opinion, and then we have aided. Okay,
Opinionated.
opinionated. Yes.
Opinionated. Okay, now is easier. Thank you, teacher, for your advice.
No problem. Are you guys about to finish?
Yes,
Okay.
maybe they are missing 5 words.
Okay, so we're going back to the main session in like a couple of minutes. Okay, in like 3 minutes. So
Okay.
please continue working.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, then
Okay, so we're all back. How was the activity? Did you finish it?
Yes, yeah.
Did you finish all of the words with the vocabulary? Yes.
Yes,
Almost
teacher.
all.
Almost? Okay, very good. So people, I'm going to do the roll call to see who's here, to see who's missing. So when you hear your name, please let me know that you are in the session. Acevedo Cuevas Saray.
Present, teacher.
Excellent. Albarracín Caballero Cristian.
Present, teacher.
Great. Ayala Viloria Joeli. Joeli, Ayala. Okay, good. Vaca Yaina Andrea.
Present, teacher.
Great. Carrero Bonilla John Hammer. He's not here yet. Cordero Castellanos Brian.
Here, teacher.
Good. Fonseca Garcia Freddy.
Here,
Great. Liscano Ariza Judy. Is Judy here with us? Judy. No, it's not. She's not here yet. Lozada Díaz Diana.
Present, teacher.
Muñoz Salazar Andrea.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Pérez Ardila Natalie.
I'm here, teacher.
Great. Pinzón Linares Mayra.
Present, teacher.
Awesome. Plata Vargas Mayra.
Present, teacher.
Great. Rodríguez Llorente Harold.
Hi, teacher.
Okay. Sandoval Miranda Angélica.
Present, teacher.
Good. Sierra Jaimes Daniela. Daniela, she's not here yet. Velasco Uribe Ana María.
Present, teacher.
Very good. And Vera Peña Jennifer.
I'm here, teacher.
Okay, excellent. So we're missing 1, 2, 3 students. Yes. Okay, my people. So we're going to do a listening exercise from our book. But before we do that, before we go on a listening exercise, we're going to watch a video about leaving home, and the first time you leave home, and then you are going to try to describe how you understand this video, because maybe you are gonna have like different perspectives. So let me share my screen. Okay, so the video is called Dejando a Casa, una tragicomedia. So it's gonna be about a guy that leaves his house for the first time, but we are going to see that is probably the first time that he's away from home, and we're going to see why. We're going to understand why. And then that is just one of the cases that we're going to be working or talking about today, because there are several and different ways of why we leave our house, right? Sometimes we leave our house because we want to be independent, or because we moved to another city, or because we moved to another country, or because we are going to study in a, or we're going to do an exchange program. I mean, there are so many, or because you are going to war, or because you are going to join the army. I mean, whatever reason, or because you get married. I mean, whatever reason it is. So there are several ways of, there are several situations in which you leave your house. So we're going to watch this short video, and I want you to give me your thoughts about it. And so at the end, of course. So it's very short. I mean, it only lasts like 6 minutes. So I'm going to start, I'm going to share my sounds. I'm going to stop the recording and we're going to start. Okay, guys. So we are talking about living home, right? This is our main topic during this unit. And we're going to be talking about several ways of several situations in which we leave our house or we have to leave our homes. And here in this video, we watched a very interesting one, and I want to hear your thoughts. Like, what did you understand out of this video?
Maybe for the first times, he wasn't prepared to leave home, and then when happened a thing that was terrible, he learned about this. Maybe with the process, he learned to do the things for the same for one way to do the correct things and do he, no other persons do.
Okay.
And maybe when he did it, he is prepared to leave home.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Andrea. Do you have any other thoughts? Do you agree with what Andrea said, or do you have a different perspective?
But it's so sad. The video is so sad.
Yeah,
And
it is. I cried a little bit watching it. Yeah, it was sad. Guys, do you have any other thoughts? Like, do you have any other opinion about the video? Maybe you understood the video in a different way, or in the same way or in a similar way as Andrea, or do you have any other thoughts?
Yeah, teacher, I think that it was the idea, and maybe to add at the end how proud maybe it's the father of the girl
The father was, or the mother
because
is.
because of his independence.
Yeah.
Maybe it's he's a little bit nostalgic, but I think that um he's more proud than
Yeah.
nostalgic for him.
Okay. I understood from the video that if you analyze it, the guy, he was, or his mother used to do everything for him, like, even if you remember, he was sitting on the table and he would have a piece of bread, but he wouldn't do anything because he was like waiting for his mom to do everything, to clean, to prepare the food and so on. And then when his mother did, that's how, or that's why he ate, because he was like waiting for his mother. Yes, Sarai has a different opinion. She says, for me, something that you never know how able or strong you are until you don't have more options. That's a beautiful way to see the video, Sarai, because he was always coming home, and I think the reason why he always kept coming home, it was because of the mom, it was because of his mother. Because once his mother passed away, he was like, okay, it's time for me to face the world. It's time for me to live by myself, to be independent, and to do all the things that maybe my parents wanted me to do, but I didn't do because of any other reason. So once his mother was not alive, or was not present, he was like, okay, I need to do what my mom wanted me to do. It was hard for the mom, it was hard for the dad to have their son leaving, but they knew that it was the right thing to do, because he needed to grow up and learn and experience the world. So yeah, I mean, I liked the video. It was very nice. So I wanted to see if you have a different perspective, of if you understood the video in a different way, because here Sarai says something different to what Andrea and maybe Diana understood. And that's perfect. I mean, it's just like one way that you you analyze the video and you understand the video. Maida, that's so nice that you recognize that from your classmate. Yes. Okay, excellent, guys. We are going to do a listening exercise. And here in this listening task, we are going to listen to some people talking about their first time, or their first time, or ones that they were outside or abroad, or maybe like they had to move from their homes. So we're going to listen to it. So let me open the book. I think it's on page 77 or 78. I will tell you in 1 second. Okay, so we are going to do a listening task about leaving home. And before we listen, we are going to discuss the following question. That is, what's the longest you have ever been away from home, and what were their circumstances? How did you feel about it? So what's the longest you have ever been away from home, if you have? Hello, guys. Are we in class? Are you answering my questions? What's the
Yes, teacher, but I always live with my parents.
Oh, you have never been away from home? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Have any of you ever lived away from home, and what were the circumstances? How long
Me.
was it? Who?
Me, Mayra.
Maida. Okay. How long was it? Like how long did you live outside? Or
Outside the country or outside in my parents' house?
both.
Well, my emancipation was when I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard at the beginning because I didn't have any money to pay the rent, my food, my university. But I found a job and I started to work and study at the same time. And 2 years, probably 1 year after that, I decided to take a program, the J1 visa, to the States, because I was working as waitress in Colombia and I was trying to save the money to pay everything in my life, like all the bills and the school and all these things, and the money wasn't enough. So I didn't speak any English at that moment. I went to the stage with hello, how are you? And that's it. That was it. And in the embassy, the interview is supposed to be in English. My
Yeah,
interview
it
was
is.
in Spanish.
Oh, you were lucky. So then you were lucky at that time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was very lucky, and so I went to the first time to the state. And my first season was in Hershey Park in the 2017. I was worried at the beginning because I invest a lot of money in that trip, but it was very successful. I can work many hours and I could save a lot of money. So it was a really good investment, and I recovered and multiplied all the money.
as I was projected, and I came back to Colombia. The experience was wonderful. My boss, he explained to me everything in English. He tried to teach me a lot about the English language. He gave me the opportunity to make trips with him and my friends. So we travel a lot. I was thinking in English all the time,
Oh, that's
and I
good.
met someone in my housing, and Paula. She was studying English at the WIS, and she teach me a lot about Grammarly, like the present simple and things like that.
So she taught you grammar. She taught you grammar.
Yeah, she taught
Oh,
me
that's good.
grammar, and when I was at home before the party, and she was really good with me, and that improved my English level. So I made three work and travel
Oh, so you've done the program 3
three
times?
times. Yeah, and that's how
Wow.
I pay my university and all my bills and all my life when I was studying mechanical engineering.
Oh, that's so nice. That's awesome. I wanted to do the that program, but I decided to do the au pair because it was different. I mean, it was longer, and I wanted
Because,
to
yeah.
yeah. And but I have some friends that they also went to the US with the same program, and they were also in the Hershey's Park. So, and they're from Bucaramanga, and they are maybe you met them maybe.
Probably because I know
Yeah.
all the people from Hershey Park from different seasons.
Yeah.
I don't know how we connect because I only went one season, the 2017.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I know the other guys from the 2018, 2019, and the 2021.
Yeah. I met
I'm very sorry.
yeah, so one of the guys that I know, and he went to lead that experience, and then he met a girl from Ukraine. I think she was from Ukraine, and then they are now engaged and they have a daughter. So it was like a love story.
I have a friend with the same story with a girl from Ukraine, and they had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the name of your friend? And I will tell you if it's the same.
Daniel.
Daniel, yes. Daniel Mejia. Yes. I
Okay.
mean, I mean, yes, I know him. We're not like close friends because he's a lawyer, and
Yeah, it's Daniel. He's a lawyer.
yeah, he's a
They
lawyer.
are in Canada right now.
Yeah, they're in Canada.
Oh my
And
God!
then
Did you know Daniel? He's
and then
wonderful.
and then Miguel Pinzon, he was also
Did you know him?
yes, of course.
I know Miguel. I know Miguel very well.
You know him very well. So okay, so you see we have some things in common now. Yeah, that was interesting. So they went to the US, and they were like having a great time together, and with all the programming experience, and I was like, huh, I want to do the same. But then I
That
decided,
was my summer. That was my
yeah,
summer.
yeah, and that was awesome. It was, I mean, I saw some pictures from them, and it was like an amazing time. So
All the stories are true.
oh my God, I can't imagine that. In having Miguel, he's a party animal. He's wild. So I'm sure like everything was like crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Great.
so anyway, I wanted to do it, but then I decided to do the au pair program, and I did it for 2 years. So that's why I mean I didn't do that program, but I'm sure it's an amazing experience. I'm sure it is. Yeah. Okay, very good. Anybody else that have lived away from home? Anybody else? Nope. Nobody else? Okay. So we are going to list at least 6 reasons why people might leave home. And what are the most common reasons, okay? So before we do the listening exercise, you're going to list 6 reasons why people might leave home, okay? Is it clear, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, very good. I'm going to switch the book and then you, in the meantime, do the task. Ready? Do you have your reasons?
No yet, teacher. 6?
Yes, 6. Don, guys, do you have your 6 reasons? Do you have them?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. What are your 6 reasons, Diana?
Well, maybe to become independent and start doing things for yourself. Other is to have your own space. And maybe another reason is people leave home to form their own home or family. And sometimes it's because they go to study abroad. And another one is because people go to work in another city or country. And sometimes also it's because they have maybe a toxic relationship with their family. It happens sometimes.
Yes, for sure. Thank you very much, Diana. Excellent. Does anyone have another reason, something different to the ones that Diana listed? Do you have any different ideas?
Maybe because have a new job in a new job in another city or in another country.
Okay, because of a new job, yes. Anything else that you can think of?
Economy factors,
Okay, economic factors, because you
cost
want.
of living, lower or high,
Okay,
higher.
okay, very good, Frey.
Family conflicts.
Family conflicts, yes, for sure.
If you don't get along with your family or your parents, it is
Yes,
better to find your own place to avoid
yes.
that.
To avoid that, yeah, when you have not like the best relationship with them and you want to feel peace and not
Yeah.
fighting or arguing all the time. So when you want to have a healthy environment for yourself.
Also for a relationship
Okay, for a
or
relationship.
like marriage.
Because when
yeah.
you get married, yes.
And, yeah.
For school, because maybe you join the army and then you have to
Exploring
leave
new
home.
environments.
Yes, exploring a new city. There are people that are like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to move to another city. Bye. You know, there are kind of people like that.
That's
So
Mayra.
that's the kind of thing that Maida will do. Maida would be like, okay,
Yes.
I'm done. I'm
He's
over.
always traveling.
So she's finding she's finding her happiness, right? Maybe in another city, not in Bucaramanga. Okay, so we are going to listen to 3 people discussing their experiences. So let's see. We have here Peter. He says, at the age of 18, Peter left home for the first time to do military or national service, right? Here we have at the age of 11, Liz was sent to a boarding school where she lived during the term, only going home for the holidays. So do you remember what boarding school means?
Como un internado.
Yes, exactly. So the boarding school. So you can see it's girls, only girls in this one, in this one in particular. Because in the pictures we don't see boys, we just see girls. So I guess that Liz went to a girl boarding school, and then she used to live with girls and she used to study there and do several activities with her classmates. And then she would only go home during the holidays. And then here we have, after studying French at a school until the age of 18, Catherine went to be an au pair in Britain, northern France, where she stayed with the family and looked after their 2 young children. Okay, so she was an au pair. So we're going to listen to them. We're going to listen to Peter. We're going to listen to Liz and Catherine talking about their experiences. So we are going to look at the list of topics mentioned during the conversation, and who do you think talked about each one? So we have who mentioned it and what did they say. So we're going to pay attention to these topics and then what extra information they provided when they were talking about it. So we have this one, it's shooting a rifle. Then we have like who mentioned it, and what did they say? What did he or she say? Ironing and sewing, growing up in the country, going to the beach, teaching English, being told what to do, haircuts, losing your individuality, and becoming more independent. So we're going to do the listening task. Is the activity clear? Is this clear? Guys, is it clear?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you.
Unit 8, Recording 2.
Peter, did you used to be in the army?
Yes, in my time you had to do national service when you were 18 years and it was compulsory, so you had no choice.
So how did you find it?
Well, I remember at the time I was really looking forward to it. It was an opportunity to go abroad and live in other countries, and it was quite a shock when I got in.
What were you looking forward to? I can't imagine anything worse than being in the army.
Well, it was, I don't know, it was exciting. It was that boy thing and shooting a rifle and going abroad. Yes, I remember I was really looking forward to it. The first thing they put in my hand was an iron, and they showed us how to iron a shirt, which wasn't what I wanted to join the army for, because I'd never ironed a shirt in my life. And then the next thing they did was they showed us how to sew a button on a shirt and how to darn a hole in a sock. I think it was about 6 weeks before I was even allowed to get my hands on a rifle at all.
Yeah. What about you, Liz? When did you leave home?
Oh, I went to boarding school when I was 11.
Oh.
I'd had a wonderfully free life growing up in the country in Australia. And suddenly at the age of 11, my parents decided that they wanted me to go to a school in the city. What about you?
Well, I started doing some au pairing when I was 18. I'd done French A-level, so my French was relatively good, but still, speaking in conversation and living in the French language for a month was very daunting.
Was it different to how you imagined it was going to be?
I can't really remember now what I imagined, but I mean, we had some fantastic times. The weather was gorgeous every single day, and we'd go down to the beach every day. The kids were a good age, so they could go off and play. But it wasn't all kind of playing on the beach.
Sailing.
Yeah, the parents really wanted them to learn English whilst I was there, so one of my roles was to teach them English, which for an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old in their summer holiday was not what they wanted to do at all. So we had quite a lot of battles trying to get them to sit down at that dining room table and do their work.
But what was it like? What was it like actually just living in a place that you hadn't been to before, with a family that you didn't know, and living under somebody else's rules?
It's difficult. Being an au pair, you're told what to do. You're there. You're getting paid. You're living in their house, and you have to abide by their rules. I don't like being told what to do, and to be told to go and put on the milk, to sweep the floor, to put the washing out, I find quite hard work. But after a couple of weeks, you get to know the routine, so you start doing those kind of things yourself without having to be told. But I did have moments when I just kind of stormed up to my room and shut the door, because at 18 I was still quite young, I was still quite inexperienced, and I found it quite difficult to deal with that.
Well, I suppose that's something that you had to do as well, didn't you? Live under the rules of the army at 18. That must have been.
Yes, that's right. Yes, the discipline was very, very hard. But there's another story that I remember about being in the army, because suddenly we found ourselves in a long hut with about 30 beds, with a short space between each bed. And from all walks of life, we came from everywhere, and the man opposite me, he was a huge man, and he was one of these people that you avoided eye contact with, because if you so much as glanced at him, he looked as if he was ready to attack you. And he had this thick Elvis Presley style hairstyle, And on the second day, we were marched to the barber shop to have a haircut, and they just cut the whole lot off. And I remember him standing outside afterwards, and he looked like an overgrown schoolboy, and he was crying. There was tears were running down his cheek, and he was quiet for about 2 days, and then after that you couldn't have met a nicer person. He did everything, he joined in everything, and he was really completely different.
So it's just his hair gave him an ego.
Perhaps that was his way of coping in an alien environment.
Could be.
As well.
Yeah.
How do you feel about having your head shaved then? I mean, did you?
Well, they didn't actually shave it. They gave us what was known in those days as a short back and sides.
But did you feel like you lost your individuality?
Yeah, because that was the whole idea, to make you work as one unit, so that if they shouted jump, then 30 men jumped at the same time, because that was the whole objective, to discipline people and to make you an effective force.
How did that affect you? How do you feel about it now, looking back?
Well, at the time it was a bit scary, but looking back now, I think it was a good time.
How boarding school affected me? Well, I said earlier it made me a really independent person.
Yeah.
And at the time, I hated it. I hated the rules, I hated the regulations, but it did, as I said, give me independence. But it also made me a quite conscientious person, because I got used to studying. Mm-hmm. And I think as a result of that, I developed into a very different person at the end of the day than I would have done had I stayed in Australia and living my free life in the countryside. So I suppose looking back, I'm very grateful that my parents made that decision to send me away, but certainly I didn't feel that when I was 11.
Okay, people, how was it? How was the recording? How was the listening task?
Teacher, can we listen
to it again?
again?
Okay, sure.
Yes,
That's what I
teacher,
want.
please.
Okay, sure.
Unit 8, Recording 2.
Peter, did you used to be in the army?
Yes, in my time, you had to do national service when you were 18 years, and it was compulsory, so you had no choice.
So how did you find it?
Well, I remember at the time I was really looking forward to it. It was an opportunity to go abroad and live in other countries, and it was quite a shock when I got in.
What were you looking forward to? I can't imagine anything worse than being in the army.
Well, it was, I don't know, it was exciting. It was that boy thing and shooting a rifle and going abroad. Yes, I remember I was really looking forward to it. The first thing they put in my hand was an iron, and they showed us how to iron a shirt, which wasn't what I wanted to join the army for, because I'd never ironed a shirt in my life. And then the next thing they did was they showed us how to sew a button on a shirt and how to darn a hole in a sock. I think it was about 6 weeks before I was even allowed to get my hands on a rifle at all.
Yeah. What about you, Liz? When did you leave home?
I went to boarding school when I was 11.
Oh.
I'd had a wonderfully free life growing up in the country in Australia. And suddenly at the age of 11, my parents decided that they wanted me to go to a school in the city. What about you?
Well, I started doing some au pairing when I was 18. I'd done French A-level, so my French was relatively good, but still, speaking in conversation and living in the French language for a month was very daunting.
Was it different to how you imagined it was going to be?
I can't remember now what I imagined, but I mean, we had some fantastic times. The weather was gorgeous every single day, and we'd go down to the beach every day. The kids were a good age, so they could go off and play. But it wasn't all kind of playing on the beach.
Sailing.
Yeah, the parents really wanted them to learn English whilst I was there, so one of my roles was to teach them English, which for an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old in their summer holiday was not what they wanted to do at all. So we had quite a lot of battles trying to get them to sit down at that dining room table and do their work.
But what was it like? What was it like actually just living in a place that you hadn't been to before, with a family that you didn't know, and living under somebody else's rules?
Difficult. Being an au pair, you're told what to do. You're there. You're getting paid. You're living in their house, and you have to abide by their rules. I don't like being told what to do, and to be told to go and put on the milk, to sweep the floor, to put the washing out, I find quite hard work. But after a couple of weeks, you get to know the routine, so you start doing those kind of things yourself without having to be told. But I did have moments when I just kind of storm up to my room and shut the door, because at 18 I was still quite young, I was still quite inexperienced, and I found it quite difficult to deal with that.
Well, I suppose that's something that you had to do as well, didn't you? Live under the rules of the army at 18. That must have been.
Yes, that's right. Yes, the discipline was very, very hard. But there's another story that I remember about being in the army, because suddenly we found ourselves in a long hut with about 30 beds, with a short space between each bed. And from all walks of life, we came from everywhere, and the man opposite me, he was a huge man, and he was one of these people that you avoided eye contact with, because if you so much as glanced at him, he looked as if he was ready to attack you. And he had this thick Elvis Presley style hairstyle. And on the second day, we were marched to the barber shop to have a haircut, and they just cut the whole lot off. And I remember him standing outside afterwards, and he looked like an overgrown schoolboy, and he was crying. Tears were running down his cheek, and he was quiet for about 2 days, and then after that, you couldn't have met a nicer person. He did everything, he joined in everything, and he was really completely different.
So it's just his hair gave him an ego.
Perhaps that was his way of coping in an alien environment.
Could be.
As well.
Yeah.
How do you feel about having your head shaved then? I mean, did you?
Well, they didn't actually shave it. They gave us what was known in those days as a short back and sides.
But did you feel like you lost your individuality?
Yeah, because that was the whole idea, to make you work as one unit, so that if they shouted jump, then 30 men jumped at the same time, because that was the whole objective, to discipline people and to make you an effective force.
How did that affect you? How do you feel about it now, looking back?
Well, at the time it was a bit scary. But looking back now, I think it was a good time.
How boarding school affected me? Well, I said earlier, it made me a really independent person.
Yeah.
And at the time, I hated it. I hated the rules, I hated the regulations, but it did, as I said, give me independence. But it also made me quite a conscientious person, because I got used to studying. And I think as a result of that, I developed into a very different person at the end of the day than I would have done had I stayed in Australia and living my free life in the countryside. So I suppose looking back, I'm very grateful that my parents made that decision to send me away, but certainly I didn't feel that when I was 11.
Okay, guys. So now, before we go on our break, we're going to talk about who mentioned the topic, and then after the break, we're going to give more information about what did they say about it. Okay. So shooting a rifle. Who mentioned this? Peter, Liz, or Catherine? Peter. Okay. Very good. Yes. Peter. Excellent. Number 2, ironing and sewing.
Liz.
Peter. The same.
Peter. Okay. Yes, it was Peter. Peter mentioned it. What about growing up in the country? Who mentioned this one? Liz says Andrea.
It's teacher, I think.
Well, Andrea Baca says that it was Liz. And yes, it is Liz. Liz is the one who mentions this about growing up in the country. Number 4, going to the beach.
Catherine.
Catherine. Okay, very good. Catherine. What about teaching English?
Catherine too.
Catherine.
Catherine as well.
Right.
Okay, very good. What about being told what to do?
Liz and Peter, maybe.
Liz and
No,
Peter,
Catherine.
maybe. Well, it
Catherine too.
was, yes, it was Catherine as well. And I will tell you why after we go back from our break. What about haircuts? Who talks about haircuts?
Peter.
Peter.
Yes, Peter
Peter.
talks about haircuts. Number 8, listen your individuality.
Peter.
Peter.
Yes. And number 9, becoming more independent.
Liz.
Liz for sure. Okay, people, we're going on our break. So we'll continue after it at 7:42. Okay, so see you shortly. Okay, people. So we are back from our short break, and we are going to continue doing this listening activity that we were working on right before we left for our break. So here we were talking about Peter, Liz, and Catherine. They were talking about their experiences living away from home, and then we're going to see what you understood from the topics that they mentioned. So in the first one, it's about Peter talking about shooting a rifle. What did he say about it? What did you understand?
That he wasn't allowed to shoot until I think 6 weeks.
Okay.
Until he were allowed to shoot.
Okay,
I think.
until he was allowed to. Okay, Diana, very good. Thank you. Do you guys have another answer or same answer?
Yes, teacher.
Yes. Okay. Good. What about ironing and sewing? What did Peter say about this? Ironing and sewing. What did he say about this?
Teacher, I didn't listen very well about it, but I think that they learn how to do it in army.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said, Diana. Excellent. So these were ironing and sewing were the first thing that that taught him in they taught him in the army. So he said about ironing and sewing, okay, as the first thing that he learned. Very good. What about number 3? Growing up in the country. What did Lisa say about this?
She said that it was wonderful.
Okay. Yes, she said that it was a wonderfully free,
like a wonderfully life,
yes, a wonderfully free life. That's what she said. Very good, Andrea. Excellent. What about going to the beach? What did Catherine say about going to the beach?
that she goes every day.
She would go to the beach every day. Yes, that's what she said. What about teaching English? What did she say about teaching English? Do you hear that part? No? Anyone? Did any of you listen to something related to teaching English for Catherine? How was her experience? No, guys? Anyone?
Teacher, I heard that it was Catherine, but
But you didn't hear like details about it.
I think that it was classes for kids.
Yes. So yes, very good, Diana. So she had to
And that is hard.
Yes, Andrea, very good. So she said that it was hard. It was a hard thing to do because the children didn't really want to do it. So it was hard work getting them to sit down and table to study. So it was a hard thing to do. What about
What do you think about this, teacher? Because you work with children.
Yeah, but my experience was different because I only took care of a 12-year-old girl at that time. So when I started to live with the family, Hannah was already 12. So she was a very young lady and a very independent lady as well. So I didn't have any problems. And she was very, when I remember that when I first arrived to this family, they gave me like lists of instructions, and then they said something like rules or things that I need to know. So they said like, okay, Hannah is such a easy girl, like we can think of ones that she got into trouble. So they described Hannah as a perfect girl, like she never gets in trouble, she always studies hard and so on. And I was like, I thought for myself, and I said, well, maybe they said that because they are their parents, and for them, they always want to make their kids look better and so on. And I was like, I thought they were joking, but no, like really, like not once I had to tell Hannah to do something, because she knew what her responsibilities were. So like honestly, I never ever had to tell her to do her homework, because once she got back from school, she was sitting in the table doing her homework, or I took her to her math classes that it was once a week. And then she had to clean or put the dishes from the dishwasher in the correct place. She knew everything. I mean, literally, she is the perfect. Do you think that's boring? No, I don't think that was boring. I mean, that made my life easier.
Yeah, but
Honestly.
that was easier doesn't mean that is, I don't know, like exciting.
So you would prefer to have a crazy person and like crazy kids and causing you headaches?
But
Do you think?
normally, because I mean, it's more easy when there are like wild at that age that
Uh-huh.
becomes like wild teenagers and
Yeah.
wild young adults.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is wild as a child, maybe later it will be more
Okay.
easy because I mean,
Well, I am a teacher. So I know how difficult it is to deal with kids and with teenagers. It's not easy. Sometimes it's not easy to deal with adults. Like honestly, sometimes I'm like, really, why do I have to deal with these kind of behaviors if you guys are adults? I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about like, things in general, like in my
talking about other bad behavior adults.
other bad behavior. Yeah.
Other adults, not we.
Yes, exactly, not you for sure. No, but for real, like sometimes I have to deal with those situations that are like a headache. So I was very lucky because I didn't have to deal with those kind of behaviors with Hannah. She was always very like, she was very easy. She was a very easy girl. She was happy with everything. She was never rude towards me, like never. She made my job so easy. So for me, it wasn't a difficult, and plus she speaks Spanish. So whenever we wanted to practice Spanish, I would just start talking in Spanish to her. Like I would start having a conversation like, okay, ¿cómo te fue en la escuela? ¿Qué tal estuvo el día? ¿Qué aprendiste hoy en el colegio? Or she would, like show me that they were singing or they're learning a song in Spanish. So or I will teach her some songs in Spanish. So it was very easy because she liked the Spanish, and she started learning Spanish when she was in third grade, or when she was 3 years old. I don't remember if it was in third grade. I think it was in third grade. So she started learning Spanish, and plus she went to Spanish camps. So she will go to Costa Rica for the summer. I mean, for like 3 weeks or something, for a Spanish camp, or she would go to other Spanish camps where she would practice her Spanish for 3 weeks or for a month. So yeah, so it was not like like difficult for me to work with Hannah. It was so easy, not boring at all, Christian, not boring at all. I was lucky, for sure. I was lucky. What about the next one, that is being told what to do? What did she say about this part?
That she didn't like.
Okay, she didn't like it, but then what? But then she got used to it. It's not
I
easy.
only take a note that saying I
You
didn't
didn't
like.
like
She
it.
didn't like.
Okay.
Yes, but
You
I don't
only heard.
listen more. I didn't listen anymore. Yes.
Okay, it's okay. So she said that she didn't like it, but she got used to it. And it's something, I mean, it happened to me because, well, for me, it was kind of like interesting, the transition, because at the beginning, I mean, it was my first time away from home. So it was my first time living in another house with another family. So for me, it was very hard at the beginning trying to, adopt or adjust myself to my new life. Plus, I was living with my host's family, but at the same time, they are, I mean, Mark and Trish, they were also my bosses, that I was living with my boss, basically. So it's not easy. It's not easy because you never know when you stop working and when you are, just hanging out with the family. Sometimes you don't know if you have to help with certain situation, because like, okay, I don't know if it's my time off or if I'm working. So it's a hard situation in that sense. For me, it was kind of like difficult because I didn't know when I was done from work. I just assumed that once one of the parents was at home at 7 p.m. or something, then my shift was over. So it was like, I was living with them, but at the same time they were my boss, and it was kind of like weird. But it was
Yes,
good.
because you live in the same
Yeah,
place that
yeah,
you work.
exactly.
Yes.
They were nice. They were super, super, super nice, but I'm not going to say that everything was perfect. There were some moments in which the communication maybe was not the best, or maybe there was some miscommunication. And then I was like, oh, I understood something different, or I thought you wanted me to do something different. I mean, there were like some moments, especially at the end, especially in the last month, maybe, of my au pair program. I was like exhausted, and I was like, oh my God, I want to go home. I don't want to live here anymore. I'm tired. I miss my family. At the same time, I didn't want to leave, but I didn't want to continue living with them. So with my host mom, it was kind of like, at the end, it was like kind of weird. But it was just like, so like some days, because we always had a great relationship. We still text each other, we'll still communicate with each other, but it was sometimes it was difficult. Sometimes it was difficult because she was my boss, and I was living with her, so it was hard. Yeah. And then I had to follow some rules. I mean, they were not very strict. For example, I had curfew when the next day I had to work. So my curfew was at 10 p.m. So I couldn't be outside after 10 p.m. during the week. But sometimes I wanted to go to a concert that it was, let's say, on a Wednesday or on a Thursday, and then the next day I had to work. So if I talked to them, they were like, oh, that's okay, that's fine, you can go to the concert, because they trusted me, and then they trusted on me, and because I was an adult, so they were like, okay, we're gonna treat you as an adult. And then I had no curfew on the weekend, so I used to get home after my parties, let's say like 3 a.m. or 2 or 4. So they were like pretty laid back and relaxed, and I could take my friends to sleep in the house. So it was awesome. I mean, my girlfriends, okay, like 1 or 2 girls to sleep with me in my room, after a party or something. So they were pretty laid back, but I had to give them like a notice, like, okay, so Laura is going to sleep with me on Saturday because we're having a party. And they were like, okay, it's okay. But then if I wanted to have like a friend from another city coming to Chicago and then staying with us, I had to talk to them and ask them for permission because it was not my house. So, you know, it was like, and I had to, and I was told what to do, honestly. Like, I knew what I had to do, so I had to follow some rules. What about haircuts? What did Peter say about haircuts? Did you listen to this part about haircuts? No? Yes? No? Did you listen to it?
No, teacher, sorry, I don't remember.
No, you don't remember? Okay, Angelica, it's okay. What about the rest? Did you hear anything about haircuts?
Teacher, I don't remember. It was him or a partner. And they he does a haircut. He did a haircut and he didn't like it, and he was crying.
Okay, yes. So yes. So they had, thank you very much, Diana. They had their haircuts on the second day, and another boy who had looked tough, you know, the tough boys, suddenly looked very small, you know. So it was shocking for them because you, and then the next one is similar to the topic that we're talking about, that is about haircuts, because Peter mentioned about losing your individuality, and then he said that that was the point, to lose your individuality, because you need to be able to act as a unit. That's the purpose of, you know, having the same haircut, because it's like, okay, we are the same, we have the same haircuts, we are a team, and we need to work as a team. So that's why they wear the uniforms, they wear like the same, or they have the same haircut, and so on. Okay, good. And what about the last one, becoming more independent? What did Liz say about that?
But she had worked a lot.
Yes, she had to work hard.
That first she hate the rules and everything. But after the times pass, they find out that all that stuff became their more independent person.
Yes, very good, Christian. Excellent. So because she had to work so hard, but she got used to it, and it made her more independent as a person. Okay, it made her more independent as a person. Okay, guys, excellent job. Excellent. So we are going to do the next part, that is about infinitives and ing forms. So we are going to pay attention to it, and we're going to say who said the following in the recording. So the first one, it was an opportunity to go abroad. Who said that? Do you remember?
Peter, teacher. It
was an opportunity to go abroad. It was Peter.
It's
Catherine. Catherine Pete.
I heard that Peter said that go to the army.
Okay. Yes. So it was Peter. What about number 2? I can't imagine anything worse than being in the army. I can't imagine anything worse than being in the army. Did you hear that?
Maybe
Liz, yes, Liz said that. Liz said that sentence. I can't imagine anything worse than being in the army. What about number 3? The parents really wanted them to learn English while I was there.
Catherine.
Yes, it was Catherine. Very good. Number 4. So one of my roles was to teach them English.
Catherine too.
Okay, so it was Catherine. Yes. Number 5, I don't like being told what to do.
Catherine.
Catherine as well. Very good. Number 6, you start doing those kind of things yourself.
Peter?
No, it wasn't Peter. You start
Catherine,
doing.
maybe?
Yes, it was also Catherine. Catherine mentioned that. You start doing those kind of things yourself. What about number 7? Without having to be told. Like you start doing those kind of things
Teacher.
without having to be told. So it's the same Catherine. Okay, it's the same Catherine. Now, number 8, he looked as if he was ready to attack you.
Peter?
Peter. Yes, Peter. Excellent. Number 9, perhaps that was his way of coping in an aligned environment.
Liz.
What do you say?
Liz?
Well, do you know the word align? This word? Do you know this word?
It's Peter, teacher.
This one. No, but what is the meaning of this word? Align. Align environment. Oh, well, align.
Sorry, in different environment?
Okay.
French.
Yes, foreign. It means foreign. So like from another country or from a place that it's not your hometown, right? So sorry, John.
Foreign.
Foreign. Yes, yes. Yeah. So perhaps that's his way of coping in an aligned environment. Liz said this. Liz. And the last one is because I got used to studying. I got used to studying.
Maybe Liz?
Yes, it was also Liz. So we're going to check. Let's see. So 1A, Peter said number 1. Liz said number 2. Catherine said number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Peter said number 8, and Liz said number 9 and number 10. So guys, we are going to do this task, this activity, about infinitives and ing forms, but we're going to work in groups, okay? So you are going to find at least one example of the following in the sentences in exercise 1. What is what are the sentences in exercise number 1? These are the sentences, okay? These 10 sentences. So we're going to find at least one example of the followings in the sentences in exercise number 1. So we have a gerund. So a gerund after a verb. So we have that a gerund after a verb. We have an example of this in exercise number 5 and in exercise number 6. So let's see, exercise number 5. I don't like being told what to do after a verb. I don't like being told what to do. Here we have the first gerund. And then number 6, you start doing those kind of things for yourself. So here we have an example of a gerund after a verb. Then we have a gerund after a preposition. So I want you to work in groups and start, finding examples in these 10 sentences about this. So we have a gerund after a preposition, a gerund as an object of the sentence, a gerund in the passive form, and then we have an infinitive after a verb and an object, after the verb be, after a noun, after an adjective, and in the passive form. And then you are going to work still like in groups, and you are going to discuss the difference in meaning between the pairs of sentences. So we have, we stopped to have lunch together, and we stopped having lunch together. So what is the difference in meaning between these two sentences? One is with the gerund and the other one is with the infinitive. We stopped to have and we stopped having. So you are going to discuss it. You're going to, like see and discuss it with your classmates, what the difference is between in each of the sentences. And then we're coming back to the main session and we're going to analyze these infinitives and ing forms, and we're going to clarify all of your doubts. Okay, is the activity clear? So exercise number 2 and exercise number 3. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Yes, sure.
Okay, excellent. So I'm going to send you to the breakout rooms. One person is going to share screen. Okay, one person is going to share screen, and I am going to create the sessions. So we have Andrea aquí siempre, Joely, Mayra, Anna, Harold, Brian. Okay. Please join. And then one person shares a screen. I will be visiting the groups. If you need help with anything, please let me know. Hello, Andrea. Do you have a group?
Yes, teacher. I was working with Christian and Mayra and Joely.
Okay, so group number 1. Good.
Thank you, teacher.
You're very welcome.
La 8 sería after a noun.
Mm.
He looked as he was ready to attack you.
Okay.
Now we need to find after the verb be and after the verb and an object and the final one.
Hola chicos, perdón, había perdido como total la conexión, no me dejaba usar la tablet.
Bueno,
I think that after the verb be could be number 4. So one of my roles was to teach.
so for which one? For after the verb be?
Yes, I think so.
Can be. Ay, me parece tan feo.
Hi, teacher.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
Teacher, we are ready to finish?
You already finished?
Yes.
With
And for
exercise
that
number
reason,
2
we are
and number 3?
talking about other topics. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, as long as you do it in English, that's perfect.
Yes, 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 we have to
Okay, perfect.
take
Yeah,
advantage of this time.
yeah, for sure. So I still have to visit one group. One of the groups, they haven't finished. So, and then you already finished. I'm going to see how the other group is doing. And then if they're done, then we are going back to the main session and we're going to work on this topic, okay? So please continue having the conversation you're having. And then in a couple of minutes, we'll go back to our main session. Thank you.
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Okay, teacher.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
Fine, teacher, we are finished.
Oh,
We are finished. Yes.
you finished already with...
But teacher, we have a question.
Yeah.
What is the meaning of a gerund as an object?
Okay, so let's go, can you please show me your questions? Okay, very good. So as an object, we can see an example of in exercise number 5, when it says, I don't like being told what to do. Also in exercise number 6, you start doing those kind of things yourself. So here, as an object is like an object is when we, for example, when we are talking about the object of the sentence is the one that receives the action, okay? So el objeto de la oración es el que recibe.
Like passive, is similar to passive form?
I mean, the gerund can be with the ing form or also with the past participle form, okay? So an example of as an object will be sentence number 5, sentence number 6, and number 10. I got used. So after the verb, the one that receives the action, that is the object of the sentence. Okay.
Teacher, sorry. I thought that as an object was the number 2. It says I can imagine anything worse than being in the army. Is not correct?
An object number 2. I can't imagine anything worse than being in the army. No, as an object, no. I mean, it makes sense. I can't imagine anything worse than being in the army. No, number 2 will be after I can't imagine anything worse than being in the army.
After preposition.
After a preposition.
Yeah, after preposition, yes, that is after preposition. But as an object, number 2, no.
So sorry, which one did you say?
Number 5, number 6, and number 10.
And 10.
I don't like being told. I don't like being being what? Being told what to do. You start doing those things yourself. You start what? You start doing, okay? Number 10, I got used.
I got used.
Used.
What?
Got
Sorry.
used. I
Okay.
got
Yeah,
used.
I understand.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
So now we're going back to the main session and we're going to check the exercise, okay?
Okay, teacher, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, people, so we are back. And now we're going to clarify all of your doubts or any possible doubts that you may have in this exercise. So you had to find examples of gerunds and infinitives in the previous activity. The sentences in exercise number 1. So let's go with a gerund after a preposition. Which sentence or which examples of gerunds after a preposition did you find?
Teacher, the 7th one.
Number 7. Okay, let's go with number 7. Without having to be told. Yes. So without, and then we have having with ing. That means that is after the preposition without. Very good. Another one. There are more. There were more than one.
Teacher, I guess maybe the 2nd one.
Number 2. Yes.
Than
And number
being.
2. Than being. Yes, very good. Than being. That is also an example of
In 9 of copying.
Number 9. Yes. Number 9. Perhaps that was his way of
copying.
Yes, of coping.
Number 10.
And to starting in the last one.
Excellent. Because I got used to studying. So here we have a preposition, and a gerund after a preposition. Very good. So we have in exercise 2, 7, 9, and 10. What about as an object? As an object of the sentence.
Number 5.
Number 5, I don't like being told what to do. I don't like what? I don't like being told what to do. So that being there is acting as the gerund of, it's a gerund, of course, but it's acting as the object of the sentence. Okay, very good. Another one.
6.
Number
you
6.
Start.
You start what? You start doing. So you start living, you start working, you start doing. That means those verbs there are acting as the object of the sentence. So you start doing. Very good. And there is another one.
The last one.
The last one, number 10, because I got used to studying. Very good. So here we have, as an object, sentence number 5, number 6, and number 10. Do you guys have any questions so far about this one? Questions?
No, teacher. Now it's clear.
Teacher, number 10, 11, why is an object?
11? There is no 11.
Sorry, 10.
Okay, because I got what? I got used. So that's why it's acting after a verb. Usually after the main verb, usually we have an object. Or yeah, generally we build a sentence, or what is a simple structure of, or the simplest structure of a sentence? Subject, verb, object, right? So after the verb, we usually have an object. What is the object? The ones that receives the action. So when I say, for example, oh, you call me after class. So we have the verb, we have the subject you, we have the verb call, and we have the object me. So me is the one that receives the action, right? So in this one, it's basically what is happening here in these examples is that we have an object that in this case is a gerund, that is the one that receives the action. Okay, so I don't like what? I don't like studying, I don't like being told, I don't like working out, I don't like eating, I mean whatever situation it is. So that's why in exercise number 5, I don't like being. Number 6, you start doing. And then number 10, because I got used to studying. We are using the gerund being, doing, and used. We can use a gerund. Remember that the gerund is not only the ing form of a verb, it can also be the past participle. Okay, so the gerund, it's not always ing, it's also the past participle as well. Okay, so that's why we have I got what? I got used. Okay, good. I will give you more examples once we finish with this part. Is it clear? I think it was Angelica. Angelica, is it clear?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, very good. And then in the passive form.
The 7 one?
Okay. Having, what else? Do we have another one? In the passive? Okay, number 7. What else? Well,
only
okay,
7 because yes, because
but also number 5. Look at number 5. I don't like being told what to do.
Yes, teacher,
So
you're
we
right.
don't have a person that tells us. It's not like we have the subject or the person that does the action at the beginning. We don't have that. So in the passive form will be exercise number 5 and number 7 without having to be told. Okay, number 5 and number 7. Okay, and then let's go with an infinitive. An infinitive after
but teacher, yeah. I think in my group we say that number 7 is not in this, is in the last one, in E. Yes. Because number 7 without having to be told. After the verb. So the verb is told. Yes.
Okay.
Nor having.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
So we say told. That in
the passive form, the passive form will be in this part to be told.
Yes, because 5 and 7 are a sentence in past, in passive form. Yes. Yeah. But one have the gerund and the other have the infinitive form. And the infinitive form is the letter E. Sorry. The letter I, the last one.
So I in the passive
form? In the passive form.
Yes.
Yeah. So we say that 7 is for this, and 5 is for in.
Yes, you're right. So an infinitive, that will be number 7 in the passive form, number 7. Yes, you're right. And then a gerund in the passive form would be exercise number 5. Yes. Yeah. Perfect. Excellent. Yes. Great. So now let's go with an infinitive. An infinitive after a verb and after an object. So we have one sentence. An infinitive after a verb.
The third one.
Number 3, where? Where in number 3?
Because teacher, you use one step and the object is then, and later you apply the verb in.
Yes, after a verb and an
To
object.
learn.
So we have the verb wanted, the object them, and then we have here to learn. Very good. So excellent. So in exercise number 3, an infinitive after a verb and an object. Perfect. After the verb be.
4.
Number 4. So one
Was
of
to
my roles
teach.
was to teach them English. Yes, very good. One of my roles was to teach them English. Perfect. Number, letter G, after a noun.
The first one, teacher.
What is a noun?
Opportunity.
It was an opportunity to go abroad. Very good. It was an opportunity to go abroad. Excellent. Number 1. And after an adjective.
Number 8.
Number 8. What is the adjective?
Ready.
Ready
to attack.
Ready to attack.
Yes, very good. Ready to attack you. Excellent. Very good, guys. Excellent, excellent. Do you have any questions about this so far?
Is everything clear, teacher?
Okay. But I'm going to explain, I'm going to give you more examples of this. So let's go with the last exercise, that is discussing the difference in the meaning between the pairs of sentences. We stopped to have lunch together and we stopped having lunch together. What is the difference in meaning between one and the other?
Teacher, in our group, we decide that the first option, the A option, is more related when you are doing something and you immediately stop doing that because maybe you have to do another thing.
Yeah.
But the second one is something when maybe you have an habit and you used to do that, but you interrupt this option because you don't want to do it anymore.
Okay, excellent, guys. When I say we stopped to have lunch together, so stop to have, it means to stop what you're doing to do something else. Maybe we received a phone call and we had to do something else, so we stopped to have lunch together because we all had to leave, okay, and do something else. And then we stopped having lunch together. It means stop completely, quit. Maybe we don't work anymore, we don't work together anymore, we're not friends anymore, or whatever situation it is, we stopped having lunch together. Very good. So one with the infinitive, one with the gerund. Number 2, I'm trying to open the door, but the key won't turn. Or why don't you try opening the door towards you? What is the difference in meaning between trying to open and try opening? Yes, John.
Teacher, I understand that try plus ing is when you are trying something as an experiment, especially if you want to see if it works as a solution.
With the ing? With the ing?
With the ing,
yes. Perfect.
And trying with
the gerund, with the infinitive.
With the infinitive. I'm sorry. Today I'm having problem with my English. I don't know what's going on.
It happens. It's okay.
With the infinitive is when you are making an effort to resolve something. So I understand that. I don't know.
Okay, John. Very good. Very good. So we have trying to open, the first one, I'm trying to open the door, but the key won't turn. It's attempting to do something. Like I'm trying to do something, I am attempting to do something. And then the second one is, why don't you try opening the door towards you? So try opening is what John said, and like experiment with something to see if it works. So try doing this, try learning this, try doing that, to see if it works. Okay, it's like an experiment to see if something works. And then number 3, very good. I'll remember to tell Jenny about the meeting, and I remember telling Jenny about the meeting. What is the difference in meaning between one and the other?
Teacher,
Mm-hmm.
In option A, it's like a reminder that don't forget to doing something. But the second is remembers that something that happened in the past.
In the past. Excellent. Very good, Angelica. Great, great, great job. So
Teacher?
yes, John.
Sorry,
Hi.
I have a question. I
Yeah.
understand completely what the explanation about the third option, I guess. I mean, using the verb remember, but I have a question. If the second option is related to past option, why we don't use remember it with ID at the end of the word remember?
Oh, okay. So I remembered the past. I remembered telling Jenny about
Yes.
Okay. So, well, first of all, the first one is I will remember to tell Jenny about the meeting. So I will remember maybe tomorrow morning, Jenny, about the meeting. So I will try not to forget to do something in the future. Okay. But then if I say like right now, I said, oh, I remember, like now, I remember telling Jenny about the meeting. So I told her yesterday, the meeting was today. And I said, and maybe she didn't join the meeting. And I said, no, but I remember telling them or telling Jenny about the meeting because it's something in the present. This sentence is in the present, like, oh, I remember, I do remember.
You're remembering something that's happened before, but you are using in that moment.
Exactly.
To
And
replace
then
the information that you
yes.
already get.
And then with ing, I remember telling, I remember doing, it means that something that happened in the past. Oh, I remember visiting my grandparents in the farm when I was a child, like I remember now in the present something that happened in the past. I remember visiting my grandparents in the farm. So that means that my grandparents, they had a farm and I used to go there during my vacation or holidays, so with the ing, it means that something happened in the past. Okay. Good. And then with with the to, and then the infinitive form of the verb is like try to remember something, like do something. So try or remember to do your homework, remember to study for the test, remember to do Moodle, remember to do something. So remember to do something is like don't forget about something that you have to do in the future. Okay. So my people, so we have some explanation about this on pages 142 and 145. We have, well, this is the grammar practice that we're gonna be working on that tomorrow. But then tomorrow at the beginning of the session, we're also going to have or take a look at this language summary that is about infinitives and ing forms. So we have very like general information about this. So this is a lot of information. So I appreciate if you guys take a look at this. So we have here examples of infinitives and ing forms, and then infinitives and ing forms after adjectives. So adjectives are normally followed by infinitive, but there are some exceptions like busy doing, worth taking. So we're gonna see that. Good. So we are I will appreciate, guys, if you take a look at this part because it's gonna like save a lot of time tomorrow. And that's it, guys. That's all for today. So thank you very much for joining to our class today. Remember that this is on page 140 and 141. I will see you guys tomorrow. Good night, guys. Take care. See you.
Thanks, teacher. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. Good night.